fair to say that you felt uncomfortable, but you never felt unsafe?
Yes, definitely. It was awkward. It was odd. It was unusual. It wasn't terrifying. It was nothing, nowhere near that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can tell this story and be like, oh yeah, that was weird. Oh, that was mad. If that was your way around, and it would be a very, even though it's the same energy could be there, the fears are a lot different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're doing a rough poll right now. LJ, would you second that? So in terms of manhood, have you ever felt unsafe being approached by a woman?
Being approached? When does that happen?
Fan.
No, I've never really felt uncomfortable like that. To be fair, it's kind of a foreign thing for me, which is why I do try to sit and listen a lot of the time, because it really isn't a topic which I have an awful lot of first-hand experience in. Obviously, I've had girlfriends and friends and situations where I stopped the friends from getting in cars with people they shouldn't and things like that. But it's never been I'm scared for myself. I've been scared for other people.
Yeah, and I'd heard that as well. Like, you might have uncomfortability, and this is even going back to, like, say, like a secondary age or whatever, going forwards, but never unsafe though. And ladies, your experience? Do you ever feel like it's crossed over from uncomfortable to unsafe?
To be honest, I have these experiences on a regular basis. Like, I can just think about the end of last year. I was walking home, a guy catcalled me. I'm sure he was just trying to be nice. I said thanks, but no thanks. And then he proceeded to follow me, and then I was starting to think, right, okay, like this. But what mine was saying, I was like, how can I talk this man down without getting irate? Because that doesn't get anyone anywhere. And then he was following me it felt like he was following me for ages, saying what he was saying, some comments about my appearance. And then he actually tapped me on the shoulder, and I just, like, to grab me, and I just said to him, hey, please stop following me, because you're beginning to make me feel really uncomfortable now. And I was like, I'm sure you're just trying to be nice. I was like, thanks for the compliment. I was like, I'm not interested. I lied. I said I had a boyfriend. I don't. And he was like, oh, he was really offended that I told him he was making me feel uncomfortable. And I'm like, but you can't just grab people in the street. Like, it's really inappropriate. And he obviously was just lacking that self-awareness. But I'm sure he wasn't trying to be threatening. It just came across that way. And I spent the rest of that walk home feeling terrified, looking over my shoulder, thinking he was going to follow me. Because, as I said, I'm not going home to anyone. I'm going home, and then I'm at home by myself, and I'm worried that he's seen where I've gone. And that's just one occasion that I can think of recently. There's definitely been more than that.
Yeah, ZaZa?
Like yourself, like, it happens on a regular basis, like getting catcalled. I mean, I have to be honest, like, I think someone mentioned earlier, like, it is an ego boost. Like, okay, cool, I'm attractive, whatever. But there have been occasions where, especially when you're declining someone's advances, I try and be polite anyway, just because I've seen when, women essentially say no a bit forcefully, sometimes it can just escalate. And even that in and of itself is like, you're, as a woman, almost having to apologize and be really like, oh, I'm really sorry, but I'm not interested. Or I used to, when I was younger, say, oh, I've got a boyfriend. I do have a boyfriend now, but I still don't even like to use that, because surely no should just be no.
Exactly. I agree.
Don't try. If I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to talk to you. I shouldn't have to explain. But there was one time, a catcall kind of turned strange, and this guy like grabbed my palm, and I was like, this is assault. Like you can't do that. You can't do that. And I remember calling the police and just thinking, oh my goodness. Like, and it might sound like, oh, this is so minor, like someone grabbed your bum, like whatever. But
no, it's not. It's definitely not.
It's like, I don't know you. I don't give you consent. And even to have a conversation, you're supposed to ask, like, is this a good time? Are you free? Do you want to talk? Not just assume that you have the right to talk to someone. And it's, I don't even think this is just a male thing. I think this is just a human decency thing. Like, if someone doesn't want to engage in conversation, we should just respect that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
And to complete our poll, our niche poll here, have you ever felt unsafe after being approached?
Yes, many times. Yes. I've actually had, like, maybe not in approach, because in an approach I usually succeed in like getting them away from me. But I've actually invited people in my house that after a while, like, I would, kindly say, like, like it's time to go, and they wouldn't leave. And I had to learn this kind of responses, as I was talking about, to just like, literally, I don't know what I'm dealing with. They're like, I see that something is not secure here. It's not safe. So I just try to be more like, I'm not trying to play doll or anything like that. I'm just gonna wait for him to actually like understand that I'm not going to engage in anything anymore, and I just want him to leave, for example. And this has happened multiple times. And I think that some men are just like, not all in all cultures, but some men really are brought up like that, to not understand a woman's no, to not appreciate at all. It doesn't exist. I don't know, maybe we as women, we know how that feels.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking about this, because conversely, in all the films that you see sometimes a guy speaks to a woman and she doesn't immediately say yes, or she rejects him, and it's like there's something romanticized about really pursuing someone and like, oh, I've won her heart or something. And it's like, that doesn't exist. Just leave her alone. Like, yes. Persistence is good if you know she's actually interested, but if she's not, leave it alone.
Yeah, I guess, lads, maybe we can flip it and give some insight. All of the reasons we'll give you will be nonsensical, but we might be able to shed some light on it in terms of the why that happens. And I think, like you said, I don't know when it starts, right? But at some point there is a persistent programming, and it's not so much a lack of respect of the word no, but I guess I think when you believe no doesn't mean it's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Kane, run with it. Why do you think that guys, no isn't a cutoff, a deal breaker?
Yeah, I first of all, like, no should be enough, 100%. And I'd be lying and saying, oh, I've not seen friends or myself where I've been persistent in the right way and it's been successful. But I think now I'm educated. I just think it's too risky right now. Men don't have the, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't have the right to be persistent anymore, because too many men are too persistent. So we've lost that right now. And once we know how to treat women correctly, and as a whole women go, oh, I wish guys would try a little bit harder, and it's a safe environment for women, and they feel like it's very rare or it's zero now that men are overly persistent, maybe we can start talk about having that given back to us. But right now, too many men are too persistent. So we all need to just dial it right down to, yeah, no, okay, we'll leave it there then. For me, that's what we need to go back to basics for, because too many people are fumbling persistent with aggressive and all these different things. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I understand. Like, yeah, there's a few women like we've already discussed. There's a few women that like being that a catcall. Oh, you know what? Thank you for that. But how many women has it been negative and become a problem? And I'm sure, speaking for women, and I do apologize for this, but I'm sure women as a whole would prefer zero catcalling and zero ego boost than, you know what, 1 in 9, I do feel good and it's nothing more. Do you know what I mean? I think that's my kind of feel on it. I do think, yeah, guaranteed, like, there's a few men out there who I'm sure very, very rarely do anything incorrect, and they always try to do things right, but there's too many men that do it wrong. And I feel like we should just cancel that culture of persistence. She'll come round and I'll work on it. I just don't think it should be a thing anymore.